The Eagles laid the boom on Derrick Henry and the Ravens on Sunday and not only dominated the #1 run defense, but contained Lamar Jackson and the #1 Ravens offense in spectacular fashion. Oh, we also got some great news on Dallas Goedert's new knee injury and added fuel for Saquon's MVP fire. Also, hear why Nick Sirianni had to defend Jalen Hurts in the post-game press conference and what caused Zay Flowers to throw a tantrum during the game. How about CJ Gardner-Johnson? Go ahead and take us into the intro.
What's America's bird? Eagle.
All we heard since the Eagles' complete embarrassment in Tampa now 10 weeks ago was, sure, they beat the Browns and Giants, but just wait for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Then it was, sure, they beat the Jaguars and Cowboys, but just wait for Washington and the Rams. This week, it was wait for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense, and of course the Raven defense. And, well, now, after a second-half beatdown of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and that #1 ranked Ravens offense, I'm wondering what the haters will say now.
He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown!
So to celebrate, let's do an awesome giveaway. How about a signed, full-size Cooper DeJean Eagles helmet right here? Yep, full-size and signed by DeJean himself. I'm going to give this away once we hit 70,000 subs. Approaching 70K very soon. It's going to be our 70K giveaway. So to enter, just hit the sub button, drop a like down below on this video, and why don't you comment Coop down below for good measure. Once we hit 70K, one of my subscribers is going to win the helmet. And of course, speaking of DeJean, his takedown of Derrick Henry here in the fourth quarter, it wasn't just a play of the game. It's now being mentioned in the Sheldon Brown, Reggie Bush territory, except this time it's a rookie cornerback versus a much bigger and probably the baddest running back alive. And yet post-game, Coop seemed to kind of shrug it off like it was just another play.
I didn't really expect to pick him up like that. I was kind of just doing my job, coming down to make a tackle, run through him, trying to run through him. He's a pretty big dude, though. I felt it a little bit for sure, but had a lot of adrenaline running, but I was just playing my coverage, came down to make the hit.
This Eagle defense is absolutely balling. They had 17 pressures against Lamar Jackson, plus 3 sacks, and kept Derrick Henry under 85 yards rushing the entire day. Vic Fangio still has the #1 defense in the league and just sent a clear message to the rest of the NFL that, hey, we're going to out-physical you, we're going to bully you, and we're going to dominate even the #1 offense in the entire NFL in the Baltimore Ravens.
Coming in playing one of the hottest teams in the league, offensively, we got to understand that they're quick to score, so we got to understand that we got to keep balling and put our foot in the ground and don't let them pass the goal line.
We preach, being the most physical team on the field every week. So that's our job to go out and put that on the field. So I try to do that.
They had to match ours. We know we're a physical team. We know they're a physical team, and that was our message going in. That they got to match our physicality, and again, that's a very physical team. That's a well-coached team. That's a team with a lot of good players.
Also, if you're a massive meat connoisseur, kind of like I am, then you're going to love today's sponsor, Good Chop. Good Chop offers all-American meat and seafood in customizable boxes that deliver high-quality proteins right to your door and on your schedule. No more running to the grocery store and spending a fortune on meat that really doesn't look or taste that great. Here's my most recent box, right? So I got ground beef, pork chops, chicken breast, wild-caught shrimp, and salmon, which was excellent, by the way, as well as these 2 ribeye steaks. First thing I went for was definitely the 2 ribeyes. They looked absolutely incredible. A little bit of seasoning on top, grilled them up the other night. Oh my gosh, they were absolutely fantastic. Some of the best ribeye steaks I've had in a long time. Personally, the best part about Good Chop for me is that all products are sourced exclusively from the USA from American farms and fisheries. Right now, just go to goodchop.com/YouTube, use my promo code ThomasMott130, or click the link in the caption to get $130 off across your first 4 boxes. Again, that's goodchop.com/YouTube, promo code is ThomasMott130. Check it out today. Flipping over to the offense, and sure, the first 2 drives pretty slow, not great, but after those first 2 drives, they had the best EPA in the entire league every drive afterwards, culminating in a mistake-free, efficient day of football that ended, as every other game has ended this year, with Saquon Barkley sealing the deal for his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, which now puts him in solo second place for NFL MVP, according to the odds makers today, just 1 behind Josh Allen, but he doesn't really seem to care about that.
Appreciate the MVP chant, so, it's great. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is winning football games, and I've been so locked in and so focused on my preparation and the way that I work throughout the week. And there's a reason why I'm getting those chants. So if I continue to take care of that, then, when the season's over, we'll look up, see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's continue to get wins and put ourselves in position to go deep in the run of playoffs.
Now, quickly in terms of injuries, Dallas Goedert apparently suffered a knee injury in the second half. He was out for that final drive. Not exactly sure what hit caused that to happen, but the news today from Jeff McClain is sources are saying it's not a significant injury and Dallas Goedert's going to be okay. Also, Devontae Smith, he tried to go pregame. You see him working out here. The bum hamstring, though, just wasn't good enough. Called it off last minute. Reports, though, postgame have said they expect Devontae Smith to be back this week. Now, this game in general started off pretty wild. Like, Philadelphia's offense struggled, and then Lamar Jackson pulling out the Houdini play to find Zay Flowers for a big gain on the Ravens' opening drive. Which, side note, Flowers did have 2 decent catches basically all game long, all coming in crazy scramble drills, but overall against Guantanamo Bay, how about 2 targets, 0 catches when going up against 2-7?
I think there's one play by Quinyon Mitchell defines everything you need to know about him. How he plays with such awareness. Like he's looking in here at the I formation. He's got the receiver on top of him right here, but he's looking in. So he's going to see the action, whether it's run action, play action. He sees the whole thing. Now he's got to carry this receiver, but his eyes are up on the play and he sees Andrews on the crosser. So now he passes the receiver off to the safety, and now he comes up and he makes his tackle. Like, you just take Mark Andrews right off his feet. Now watch the reaction right here. Watch Jalen Carter in pursuit. He sees the rookie. Watch the reaction. That's all you need to know right here. Like that right there, man.
Philly would then hold in the red zone, only give up 3 for a big stop early. Lamar would then march back into the Eagle red zone, following another Philly 3-and-out, and find Mark Andrews for the game's first score, putting the Ravens up 9-0, following yet another Justin Tucker missed extra point. And I'll be honest, at this point, 9-0, the anxiety started to grow a little bit, but have we not learned, and I gotta call myself out here, have we not learned that Philadelphia starts slow and then figures things out and then eventually dominates, because it happened yet again on Sunday?
First quarter, we weren't able to really get anything going. Then the last 2 possessions, 4 half, we did well. And then they controlled the majority of the clock, third quarter. And we made some key plays, but obviously it was close. I mean, they're very deep in the trenches. O-line, D-lines are always really good. So it was a tough battle, man. It really came down to the end.
And so yet again, after a couple of good stops by the defense and well into the second quarter, I might add, Philadelphia's offense finally got rolling behind Saquon Barkley and then Jalen Hurts' legs. Then A.J. Brown across the middle before a perfect RPO throw to Dallas Goedert to give the Birds their first touchdown. Worth noting, A.J. Brown over the middle, as we know, it's pretty unstoppable. Philly ran this like 7 times yesterday, and it worked every single time. It's a new wrinkle they haven't used much the first half of the season, but might become a staple, at least should be, down the stretch. Back on defense, and how about Zack Baun exploding through the hole and stopping Derrick Henry on third down? Baun had a sack on Lamar later in this game as well, and just for comparison on how good Baun has been this year, here are Baun's numbers through 12 games versus what was Defensive Player of the Year, Luke Kuechly. Prime Luke Kuechly. Just take a look and enjoy this for a moment. Back on offense, and yeah, they marched right down the field yet again. A.J. Brown, the main focus on the Birds' next touchdown drive, which culminated in a fumbled snap brotherly shove that somehow still scored, because obviously the brotherly shove, it always works.
You guys enjoy a physical game, though? Because it seems like that kind of plays here.
Of course. You know, whenever you got a physical team and you call yourself a physical team, you want to know who's going to be physical, who's going to quit. You know, and I think 2 teams, bump heads, and I think today we were the tougher team, and I say like the less mistake team. So
then it was the defensive time to shine, this time starting with a Nolan Smith sack and then a Jalen Carter sack on the same drive to force the only made field goal for Justin Tucker the entire day. And going back and watching the film, this defensive line performance is probably the best defensive line performance we've seen all season and maybe for a couple of seasons prior. 3 Eagles had 7+ pressures on Lamar Jackson. Like, Nolan Smith led all edge players with 58 defensive snaps. Jordan Davis was on the field for 13 design runs to Derrick Henry that only gained 39 yards. Like, take away all the glamour of the secondary and the linebacker play and, of course, the offense. And as Brian Baldinger shows, this defensive line right now is putting together some of the best tape in the National Football League.
Derrick Henry is as big and strong as any running back, including Jim Brown, that's ever played this game. But this is why running backs don't have a long shelf life. Jalen Carter stacking Tyler Linderbaum right here. Here comes Nolan Smith. Like, you're going to see this Derrick Henry take this hit. Like, these guys just can't survive these kind of hits. I mean, this is crash test dummy type stuff. Like, they just, look at this. Like, they're just throwing the right tackle over there. Derrick Henry's just getting busted. Like, Milton Williams is laying on top of him. And that's just one play. That's just one play. Who survives that? Watch Derrick Henry get up off the ground. He needs some help right there. Heck yeah. He needs some help.
Back in the third quarter, and Lamar again would make some pretty good plays, driving a field goal range, but then how about Zack Baun and rookie Jalyx combining for a massive third down sack? This would then lead to a much longer Justin Tucker field goal, which he would miss and keep the Birds' lead. Credit to Jalyx and really Zack Baun, they have been incredible. Two big additions in the offseason, one older, one younger, but a massive culmination here for the Lamar Jackson sack.
They sent me on a blitz, and the running back cross-protected and tried to cut me. Put my hands out, defeated the cut, and then had to be real patient on Lamar.
At what point did you see the cut? Like, did you see him coming the whole way, or?
I knew in film study if they cross-protected, the cut might have been coming. So, and he was kind of leaning into it, so just beat the cut and then make the play.
I guess also give credit to Justin Tucker for once again waiting for the Ravens to move back into field goal territory on the ensuing drive, but then miss his third kick of the game to continue the Eagles' lead going into the fourth quarter. Also, it is worth noting that if there was one flaw yesterday, it was first quarter performance and third quarter performance. Philadelphia had 3 plays in the third quarter, at least until the very end there, and at that point in the game, they looked pretty anemic. It's really crazy you can have a bad first and third quarter and still be really, really good overall on offense. And I see a lot of people today wanting to criticize Jalen Hurts for being a game manager, but what more do you want? They only needed to throw the football 19 times in this game to beat Baltimore. Hurts played clean, he's playing smart, and as his head coach said post-game, he's playing at an MVP level regardless of how not great the stats have been.
And you'll say, "Oh, game manager." That's all bull. Like, Jalen played an awesome game, and his stats are going to say, right, we didn't throw it a lot. We were 11-19. He had 118 yards, but that guy made runs when he needed to make runs. He made good checks. He managed the game in a 4-minute to take the clock down to use as much time as he can. Man, Jalen, we haven't thrown it a lot in the fourth quarter in the past month and a half of the season. So, Jalen's stats aren't going to say that, but Jalen deserves, Saquon deserves to be in an MVP consideration. Jalen Hurts deserves to be in an MVP consideration because of how clean of football he's playing. Like, look at his quarterback rating throughout the last month and a half of the season.
And here's a perfect example. How about Hurts' drive in the first quarter? First down pass to Dallas Goedert on 3rd and 7. Then a Saquon run into Baltimore territory. Then Jalen using his legs in the following play down to the 24, which was followed up by the Saquon game-sealing run to blow this game wide open and all but steal the Ravens' fate. Right now, Saquon Barkley is averaging 7 yards per rush in the second half of games this season, and behind this offensive line is almost guaranteed to eventually hit a big one once opposing defenses just get a little bit lazy on their gap run protection.
Unbelievable offensive line. I think week in and week out, you guys are able to see that, and especially our tackles, they're able to move, and how big they are and able to move at that size helps us out a lot. I kind of saw the look, just trusted that he's going to make the block, and I just ran through as fast as I can, pretty much with my eyes closed, and got to the open field. And Jahan and Paris did a really good job of running off the DBs to open up space for me, and we were able to get end zone.
Speaking of big ones, it was right after that touchdown drive that Cooper DeJean laid the wood on Derrick Henry here. I mean, come on. What more do you want me to say? Can we get 2,000 likes for Coop dethroning the king right here? But really, back on offense, and they need one more perfect drive. 4 minutes, burn the clock, and end with points to go up 2 scores, and that's exactly what they did, culminating in the first Jake Elliott field goal of the day. Although, I guess some garbage time Lamar Jackson stat padding on the following Ravens drive needed to be done to keep this whole MVP narrative alive. But look at the stats, Thomas. Okay, whatever. This was as impressive of a win as we have seen in Philadelphia. And what do you know? Post-game, the 2022 vibes we're all worried about, they're clearly back, and they're definitely better than ever. Right now, I have 3 main focuses going forward. 1, don't sleepwalk past the pesky Panthers. They've gotten much better the past couple of weeks. 2, root against the Lions and the Vikings because we want that number 1 seed. And 3, continue to stay healthy. If all those things continue to be true, this Philadelphia Eagles team is as good as anybody out there. They can beat anybody on any given day, and they can be the 1 seed and make a run at the Super Bowl. There's still a lot of games left. You got to beat the Steelers. You got to beat the Commanders again. You need some help to get the 1 seed from the Detroit Lions. But overall, this was as impressive of a win as I have seen being a Philadelphia Eagle fan. All of us said preseason that this was going to be the loss, right? You go to the Rams and you got to come back and play the Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They're probably going to lose. And what do? They dominate, and they should have won by 2 scores had not been Lamar Jackson magic late in the fourth quarter. This football team is as good as I've seen. I'm super excited right now, and I also want to preview the fact that we have an Eagle player interviewing him tonight, going to be on tomorrow's show. Be sure to subscribe for that. Get in on the Cooper DeJean helmet giveaway as well. It's a great time to be a Birds fan. Plenty more content happening the next couple of days, weeks, Super Bowl run. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm Thomas Mott. Thanks for watching. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.